democracy runs in many countries in this era, it is safe to say that this is the ideal way for both the governors and also the people, since the majority of the people are the ones who would determine who would rule them. Throughout the years, since the early years of democracy, there has been many problems and also many reforms done by the proactive government. The main problems with the electoral system in the early times and somewhat still continues until now are the geographical distribution of seats, the selection of candidates, the qualification of voters, and also the conduct of the election campaign itself. The first problem, which is the geographical distribution of seats, arose due to the fact that seat allocation bore no relation to population patterns. The parliament also had not established any mechanism for altering representation to reflect demographic trends. This led to unrepresented large industrial towns such as Birmingham and also Manchester in the year of 1830. Another problem was that the entitlement to vote were mostly derived by land ownership, and the value of the land was set high enough to exclude most of the local residents. All the while, residence was not needed. This means many so-called outvoters lived beyond borough boundaries and possessed votes in several places. Moreover, the conduct of the campaign itself affected the electoral process immensely, if not wholly. The way that bribery, treating, and intimidating was spread amongst the people made the law seem to have no purpose when it comes to electoral process. For example, the explicit purchase of votes for cash had been illegal since 1996, but the law was so rarely enforced that the practice almost acquired conventional status. Although treating had been a crime since 1696, it was so routine that the candidates who could not afford to entertain the voters are prohibited from joining the contested election. The numerous intimidations are not only limited to assaulting voters by a different candidate's followers, but also to economic intimidation. This involves dismissal from jobs or eviction from property if the instructions to vote were not followed by the employer or landlord. Furthermore, members of parliament representing county constituencies had to own landed property worth at least £600 since 1710, and members of the borough had to own £300. This inevitably excludes the majority of the population, including many of the middle classes. This suggests both the direct influence of the landed riches on the composition of the House of Commons and also the indirect influence of members of the House of Lords. In addition, the elevated expense of contested campaigns, the small size of many electors, and the open voting process increased the control of the electorate by the local aristocrats.
To overcome the issue pertaining to the concerns stated by Shakira, the Parliamentary Constituencies Act 1986 was introduced. In Schedule 2 of the Act, it states that the commissions will be established in order to determine the size and shape of the constituencies in Northern Ireland, England, Wales, and Scotland. These commissions are known as boundary commissions and will be established in each constituency. The purpose of its establishment is to enable the distribution of seats in the parliamentary elections to be frequently reviewed. In achieving a better reflection on the demographic trends, the Representation of Peoples Act 1867 was introduced. Prior to this, the Reform Act 1832 was introduced, and this led to new forms of enfranchisement to elect members of parliament and the removal of rotten boroughs. This, however, did not satisfy the working classes as they demanded greater enfranchisement, as it was then limited to men who only possessed land valued at least £10. The 1867 Reform Act, enfranchisement was given to all householders located in boroughs and lodges who paid rent. This led to the number of electors to be doubled in number in England and Wales, whereby there was an increment of 1 million men. Another reform is the Corrupt and Illegal Practices Act 1883. This statute states that bribing voters constitutes a crime. The expenses used in elections were also standardized, and this helped limit the ability of a political party to abuse their power. Candidates found guilty with corruption are barred from contesting in elections for a period of 7 years. Even though the barring period has passed, the candidates, however, will not be able to contest in the same constituency. As a result of this act, the average election expenditure fell significantly, and allegations of illegal acts during elections also declined.
One of the contemporary concerns is the practice of the first past the post system. The system clearly fails to convey the advantage of majoritarianism, which in other words, it means that this system is lacking in proportionality. The system has been making flawed results, which also mean that the party is going to be overrepresented. From the average system, the number of voters is far below it, which the voters are represented by FPTP. A mandate with 100% of the power has been given from only a third of the country for the past election. However, in the year of 1997, the British Columbia election across the province, the winning party only received generally around 2% less than the party which in the official opposition. The governing party was capable to win 6 more seats than the opposition and successfully form a majority government. The party can acquire the most support from the entire democracy, yet still be lacking in the ability to govern and have no input in passing the legislation. The winner can be selected with second preferences with the supplementary vote. However, this is not proportional. The supporters from the eliminated candidates usually have chosen the runner-up or the second preferences for other candidates who fail to go for the next round. Usually, the electors who cast the vote will deny choosing between the final two. Thus, these ballots are wasted. Furthermore, not all voters was given the chance to express the preference on the final 2 candidates. We can't really tell which of the 2 final candidates will have won. This has shown to be a very concerning problem in practice. In the year of 2017, for the West of England mayoral election, it was hard to foresee which candidates will make it amongst the 2 with the identical strength of the Labour, Conservative, and also the Liberal Democrat parties. Also, it ended up paying for another eliminated candidates from the majority of the second preferences that has been expressed by the supporters of candidates that has been totally eliminated. Moreover, in the year of 2016 London mayoral election, there was nearly 300,000 ballots, around 11.3% of the total, were wasted even when the top 2 candidates should have been clear. Because both preferences cast for eliminated candidates, it is complicated enough and tough to argue that the supplementary vote is a better version of the alternative vote, and the selling point of alternative vote has been removed by these wasted preferences. And as for the next point is the wasteful vote. Wasteful, that is what PTP has been regarded as in constituency, the cost of vote for the losing candidates or even for winning candidate to win the seat not worth of anything. It actually squeezes the life out of the third place and smaller ones and provides more seats regarding votes to leading party.
In 2005, the European Court of Human Rights (ECTHR) ruled that the UK was in breach of Article 3 of Protocol Number 1 of the ECTHR in relation to prisoners' voting rights, and the UK's ban on prisoners voting to be unlawful, indiscriminate and disproportionate. The Senate and Elections Wales Bill, introduced in 2019, does not change a prisoner's voting position. Prisoners that are serving a custodial sentence after conviction do not have the rights to vote under Section 3 of the Representation of the People Act 1983, and this ban does not apply to prisoners on remand. In 2015, Michelle Gove expected that the government would produce a substantive response to the 2013 report made by the Joint Committee in 2016. This was in relation to the drafting of Voting Eligibility Prisoners Bill. Federal Act 1870 led to the disenfranchisement of prisoners in England and was equivalent to civic death. In the case of Hearst and United Kingdom, the ban was challenged by 3 prisoners. At first, the domestic courts rejected them. However, one of them, named John Hearst, took the case to the ECTHR. It was held that banning prisoners from voting was in violation of Article 3 of the first protocol of the ECHR, whereby freedom of expression is given to the people. Therefore, prisoners who are serving short sentences should be allowed to vote since they are only committed summary offences. Another concern is the lack of female representation in politics. FPTP and AV excludes women from legislature. This was a great effect now as society emphasizes on gender equality. FPTP restricts a constituency choice of candidates. Women are less likely to be chosen as candidates as it is male-dominated field and due to the most broadly acceptable candidate syndrome, which narrows the chance for a woman. Research done by Inter-Parliamentary Union, women only won 14% of seats on average in FPTP in 2012. FPTP can be described as candidate-centric system because the electorate would vote for an individual instead of the party. The incumbency effect is also one of the reasons because there are many safe seats which has been occupied by men throughout the election cycles, and this selection of sitting MPs by constituency party is quite rare as continuing MPs are likely to secure their seats during future elections. A study showed that women do better under proportional representation system than under FPTP. This was proven by countries practicing FPTP and showed how the quota for women did not reach UN's 40% threshold of women in public office.
Based on the concerns mentioned, some reforms should be implemented in order to uphold and create a more democratic electoral system. The first reform that can be introduced is the single transferable vote system, which uses multi-member constituencies. The electorate are required to vote for the contesting candidates in order of preference. The candidates with the least votes are disqualified and their supporters' second preference are redistributed to the others candidates until all seats in parliament are filled. This system is recommended for local government elections across the UK. This is because the system provides a greater proportional outcome that can view coalition in a government as a norm as well as having MPs representing larger areas. This is because the system provides a greater proportional outcome that can view coalition in the government as a norm, as well as having MPs representing larger areas. This proportionality would reduce the geographic distortions currently caused by FPTP and also the restrictive impact on the development of the party system exercised by the electoral system that would encourage the evolution of the party system. STV would change the relationship among the parties and candidates, and as it does not constitute a vote for their broader party list as seen in other PR systems. The electorate are able to distribute their preferences across parties. This would allow the electorate to express their highly complex preferences and be entirely based on the electorate's assessment of the individual candidates. This shows that the electorate's decisions directly affect the candidate's position in elections due to the concept of preferences. With the concern mentioned by Ms. Wu, under the STB, there will be fewer wasted votes as each voter's vote will definitely be counted and contribute to the results of the elections. Representatives will have greater responsibilities as a result of these elections. However, some people believe that party list system will have highly benefit women candidates. This is because the electorate parties have control over the gender balance in the electoral system. Hence, this will provide greater incentives for political parties to expand their party's appeal by placing women into the system. Furthermore, in relation to prisoners voting in elections, it is decided that those who are sentenced to less than a year in prison and those who are released on the election day may be able to vote in the near future. The two-round system is also considered as a reform. In this system, the voters will have to cast their ballots on two separate occasions, which is a single candidate within a single member constituency per round. Candidates who fail to meet a set of threshold between two rounds will be disqualified, and the option to give up is also available. This system is also arguably more representative at this constituency level. Candidates vote for their party of choice during the first round and will be well informed on the party's agenda before they can cast their second vote. This is because it is not done simultaneously as seen in alternative voting system and supplementary voting system, whereby the electorate will have to vote in sequence on the same ballot paper. This is beneficial to the electorate as alliances would have been formed before the second round and allowing them to observe the relationship formed within the coalition instead of sudden coalition after elections. Political pluralism is encouraged, and this removes the direct link between the MP and the electorate system. Today, this system is used in France, presidential, legislative, and departmental elections.
In a nutshell, there are always inevitable conundrums when using a particular voting system. The concerns arose caused many law reforms to be implemented throughout the years in the United Kingdom. This shows that the democracy practiced by the country is suitable for the people. However, we submit that the most suitable electoral system is the party-list proportional representation system, which is currently being used in Denmark.